I feel like I don't really belong anywhere. And it's not for the usual reason of like, oh, I don't know what I want to do with myself, or I don't really know who I am, or I can't find any social groups that work the way I work. The issue is I know exactly the kind of person that I am. The issue is that there's no way for me to realistically be that, which is really, really frustrating. Let me explain this. At the same time, I'm extremely, extremely opinionated and very, very critical, but also a very pleasant person, I think. When I talk to people, they usually walk away pleased, or at least not upset. So in this way, I know that I'm both of these things. I know I'm both an asshole and also this really good person, but I can't be both at the same time. So when I'm one but not the other, it feels very unfulfilling to me. You'll notice that in trends across these videos on this channel, they're either super, super positive or super, super negative, and nothing even close to in between. I'm both of these opposite points all at once, but I can't be both at the same time because then it wouldn't be anything, then I'd be neither. They cancel each other out. And in the same way as this, because that's not it, that's not the only issue here. The other issue is how much I've dedicated a video to this, is how much I like to create things, but how little I can enjoy it. Like, I can't enjoy the creation process at all. Or even the performance aspect. Both writing and performing music for me is really tough, because unless I get it 100% perfect, which I never can because that's not possible, nobody can do that, unless I get it 100% perfect, I walk away feeling very, very unfulfilled and very empty, and more like I'm settling more than I'm pleased with a product. That's what it is. I settle with things rather than actually being proud of them in terms of creation. And similarly, with these two kinds of people that I am, I settle with being one for the moment, as opposed to letting myself be both, because that can't happen. Both can't happen at the same time. So I'm in this weird spot where every aspect of my being contradicts with itself, and I'm not exactly sure what to do about it. I think this is the main reason why I have such a hard time waking up in the morning and have such a hard time creating things and have such a hard time actively talking to people, because these are all things that require me to choose one or the other in terms of an aspect of who I am, and I can't be all of them at the same time. And I don't know how uncommon this is, because I know a lot of people who are content just being an asshole, or content just being a pleasant person, because that's the kind of people they are. If you ask someone, why aren't you more pleasant? It's like, oftentimes they'll say, that's just not the kind of person I am, well, more accurately, they'll say, I just keep it real. I just keep it honest. Fuck those people, by the way. Or if you ask someone, why are you so pleasant all the time? They're like, that's just the way I am, It's just the way these people are. But I tend to be both at the same time, but both at the same time can't happen. So it puts me in this really weird situation where I'm never really sure what to do with myself, and it's very, very odd. The only connection between all of these things, between being an asshole and being pleasant, and being creative but not being satisfied with what I create, is the fact that I'm incredibly analytical. I'm looking at things all the time in a very, very critical way, both myself and other things. You've probably seen that with the video I did the other day about how people don't talk correctly. And had a surprising amount of backlash, which is to say not very much, but something was there, which I was like, oh, people don't agree with this. I was like, alright, whatever. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yes, critical thinking. I apply thought to every single thing that I do, And that's the only connection between all of these things. So I guess if I had to summarize myself, it would be thoughtful, but not in the way where it's like, oh, you're so thoughtful. It's in the way that I'm just constantly thinking. And that sounds kind of douchey too. It's like, oh, I'm thinking all the time. It's like, it's not like that either. It's more like, I don't know. I think I've made myself pretty clear about that. I don't think I need to elaborate what I mean by thoughtful. I think you guys understand. But yeah, it's this really weird spot of like, I don't want to be pleasant all the time because I don't want to just hide the way that I feel about things, but I also don't want to be a dickhead all the time because that's super unfulfilling. I don't get anything out of that. It's not fun to be a dickhead, but also it's unfulfilling to be pleasant. So it's this thing where it's like, well, I could be pleasant and just express my feelings in a pleasant way, but a lot of the time my feelings aren't pleasant, so I'm not going to dress them up like they are. And that's usually when I just wind up not saying anything, and I keep it inside. I keep it bottled up inside me, man. It's that kind of thing. I don't know. It's tough. I don't have a conclusion for this. It's just something that I noticed right now. This is something I've been dealing with for my entire life, but I never really thought about it until right now, that I've got these conflicting ideals within myself, where it's like, I should be this way, but also I should be this way. Oh wait, I should be both. Oh wait, I can't be both. Because one comes with problems that the other alleviates, and, you know, if I'm too nice all the time, my thoughts aren't going to get across correctly. But if I'm a dickhead, no one's gonna listen to them, and also that's just not something I like to be. I don't like to be mean. But it's, you know, when I have negative emotions, that's really the only way to get them out, I think. Or at least the way that feels the best, feels the most correct. And then as far as, because I was thinking what this came from is the fact that I don't know what kind of creator I am. Because I was looking at all these people who do, like, music arrangements on YouTube and stuff. And there's the creators who are, like, kinda head in the clouds, and their descriptions are, like, I don't know, just this really fluffy, like, oh yeah, I was having a good day today, so I made this. Like, they have that kind of stuff. And then there's other creators where it's, like, they detail the piece and the history behind it and that kind of thing. And I feel like I'm both at the same time, so I don't know where to pull it from. And then I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I can just be one of the creators that don't say anything, you know? I don't have a personality or a face attached, I just record the music and put it out there. But that's just as unfulfilling, because if I was to go, for example, to the church and record a piece of organ music, it takes me so long to record those things because I have to get it absolutely perfect. And it's like, well, that's not fulfilling either. Just being the music isn't fulfilling either, because once I'm done at the end of the day, it's more like I finally got it done, rather than being satisfied with the fact that I got it done. It's like, oh, fucking finally, it took long enough, like that kind of thing, as opposed to like, oh, finally, it took so long, you know, there's a very distinct difference there. And I'm definitely the first and as opposed to is the second one, so I definitely can't be the kind of person who just plays music and that's it, because that's just as unsatisfying as well. I have no idea what the hell to do with myself. It's really, really odd. It's very confusing to me. This is probably the kind of thing that's going to be worked out in a couple years, and anyone who's older will listen to this and be like, oh yeah, I remember being that way too. Just kind of write it off as me being young, but like, I don't know. I'm too young. I'm too young to feel this way. If this is the way young people feel, we're too young to feel this way. Fuck this. This is stupid. I don't know. Or maybe it will never go away. I know there's a lot of unfulfilled people who are a lot older than me as well, so maybe it's the same kind of thing. Maybe it just never goes away. And maybe I just need to settle with something like I have been so far. Because I may not be happy with it, but it's working. It's doing something, you know? Is it working? I don't know if it's working. I think more like it's passing. It's getting like a C-. It's like, well, it'll suffice, but it's not really ideal. It's like, it'll get you by. But you should probably find a better alternative. It's that kind of thing. Or maybe I'll just hibernate for eternity. I'll go live with the bears. And they'll teach me how to hibernate, and I'll become the best fucking hibernator ever, and they'll never be able to wake me up. They say, well, I guess we lost him. That's the way bears talk. They'll just let me sleep forever. I think that's a good solution, because it's not dying. It's not dying. It's just being asleep. So that sounds pretty good to me.